Every year, 6% of Bahamian
children are born with a heart defect.
We at Cable 12
and the Nassau Guardian decided
to lend a helping hand
in creating more awareness to the cause of saving little hearts.
One surgery
can cost up to
$250,000.
We at Cable 12
and the Nassau Guardian
hear their cry.
We are asking you to make a donation
to these efforts.
Embrace the opportunity
and save a little heart.
A police shooting caught on camera. The Prime Minister responds to shocking findings about the BTC sale.
I have to deal with what I find.
We give you a preview of tomorrow's mid-year budget, plus we sit down with Santino Kemp to talk about his new book.
It's healing. Basically, it's healing.
I'm Nikia DeVoe, and this is NB12 Weekend. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Sunday for NB12 Weekend. Police today defending the actions of an officer who shot at a man in a vehicle several times in the downtown area last week. On Friday, NB12 reported that a man in a Honda allegedly hit an officer off of his bike in the Frederick Street area and attempted to do the same to another officer who discharged his weapon at the driver. The driver was shot in the back of the neck and was taken to hospital to be treated. He is expected to be charged. Well, that incident was caught on video and has gone viral. Take a look.
They ain't even see nothing. But you all dumb, eh? You all come catch the He knocked the police off the motorbike and arrested him trying to catch him. Go taxi. The police in the back there, you know, SD and he gone.
Bahamians on social media posted comments questioning if the officer's actions were necessary. Well, Superintendent Ashton Greenslade told NB12 today that the incident is being investigated, but it was believed that the officers practiced good judgment. He said once an officer determines his life, his partner's life, or the community is in danger, the officer will use his or her weapon to protect those lives. Meantime, Tourism Minister Obi Wilchcombe telling our news team that hearing gunshots in such a mainstream tourist area is unacceptable and it could send the wrong message about the Bahamas. You can read more on the minister's response to the incident in tomorrow's Nassau Guardian. Lead negotiator of the government's committee engaged in the Bahamas telecommunications take-back talks said they found shocking revelations regarding the sale, while Prime Minister Perry Christie told us recently that he is aware of those findings.
I'm asking you whether you have any idea what he's talking about.
Yes.
And you also find those shocking?
No, I'm in politics. I find nothing shocking. I have to deal with what I find.
Franklin Wilson told the Nassau Guardian last week that members of the committee believe the findings are so serious the public has a right to know, but that probably won't happen. Here's how the Prime Minister responded when asked if he plans on tabling the information.
I'm giving the negotiators for both Bahamas, the Bahamas government and Cable and Wireless, an opportunity to determine whether or not there is an agreement that they could arrive at.
Wilson said the findings led the Committee of Negotiators to recommend to the Prime Minister that a parliamentary select committee be appointed to probe the controversial sale of 51% of BTC to Cable and Wireless Communications in 2011. Wilson says they recommended the committee because they believe the public ought to know what they know and find out in a transparent way. However, Christie said that he has yet to decide whether the committee will be appointed. He added that the date for liberalization of the market is fast approaching and he won't take any steps that are harmful to the 49% of shareholders the government represents.
When BTC directors representatives of cable and wireless raised the question about any discussion I may have had with Digicel, for example. I'm astounded because as of today, Digicel is still waiting for the Bahamas government and not the Bahamas government waiting for Digicel.
The monopoly of the telecommunications market ends May of next year. The government presents its mid-year budget tomorrow and is expected to take action toward lowering the debt burden. Celeste Nixon has a preview of what's to come out of tomorrow's contributions in the House of Assembly.
Government officials have kept quiet on exactly which budgets will be slashed, but tomorrow the nation will learn exactly where the government will cut costs. According to a letter issued by the Ministry of Finance, the government is proposing to cut the budgets of its various departments and agencies by 25% in the 2014-2015 fiscal year. NB12 recently caught up with Deputy Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, who said up to last week the government was still deciding on which institutions will receive less funding, but that information will be made public tomorrow in the House of Assembly.
We have not, there's no firm decisions made yet as to where subventions cuts will be made. But we are asking the corporations of the government to develop initiatives to lower their overheads and costs at least by 10% immediately.
Institutions were asked to submit a financial plan to the government by January 31st that showed a reduction in subventions by 10% in the 2013-2014 fiscal year and 25% in the next fiscal year. Davis said government institutions will have to consider where excess fat can be trimmed and which programs and initiatives can be postponed to a future date.
It's a management matter. They'll have to look at where there may be some wastage, or where they can, or look at initiatives that they have engaged that they don't need to continue with at this time. And that's what each of the corporations will have to do. Identify wastage where there is and eliminate it, and look at initiatives that they have adopted or that could be postponed for the immediate future.
The Ministry of Finance's letter states that the savings should be achieved without any reduction in the quality of service to the public or a forced reduction in headcount. Tomorrow, the Prime Minister is also expected to make an announcement on a budget to market the Bahamas and the Baha-Mar Resort. On Thursday, Prime Minister Perry Christie said the government will have to find the money to make sure that the world knows what the Bahamas has to offer, specifically the new mega resort set to open in December 2014.
To market this complex of hotels, and that is a significant sum of money.
How substantial is that?
Substantial. And I'm going to speak to it when I make the communication.
On Monday?
On Monday.
Switching gears, last week Bahamian Santino Kemp released a tell-all book about his alleged affair with a popular Black American bishop. In the summer of 2011, the then 22-year-old found himself in the center of a sex scandal after his identity was revealed to the world. Kemp recently sat down with NB12 to talk about his new book, his experience, and how he has been received since Bahamians caught wind of the story.
One source says Santino Kemp, raised in the Bahamas, met Bishop Eddie Long years ago during a visit to New Birth while he was a teenage student in a Florida college. We wanted to ask you about Bishop Eddie Long.
Oh, no comment.
Come on.
Can we just talk to you for a second?
When it took on here in the Bahamas, I didn't even know until my family was like, Santino, you know you want Bahamas Press? I was like, why Bahamas Press?
Kemp was the fifth young man to accuse the bishop of sexual misconduct. The bishop maintained his innocence, but the lawsuits were settled out of court. Kemp did not file a lawsuit against the man, but according to court documents, he was included in the settlement. Kemp says he dealt with a lot of negative reaction to his alleged affair after that news clip went viral, but he told NB12 support from his family members who still live in the Bahamas has been very encouraging.
It's all positive feedback because they understand that what I'm doing is helping somebody else, because I was the young man who left the Bahamas at 16, as most of us do, to go off to college at that age, and how I was blindsided by religion and my faith and basically ruined my life.
Kemp's book First Lady is an emotional story of his alleged 6-year relationship with the church leader. Kemp does not call his alleged abuser by name in the book, referring to him only as Dick Tracy or Bishop. The now 23-year-old singer-songwriter says the book is full of drama, heartache, corruption, and manipulation. Here's an excerpt from page 20. But then I calmed down because I reasoned that I was with a man of the cloth, so there was no need to worry. Boy, was I wrong. A short time later, Bishop returned from the hotel and asked me to accompany him inside. I obliged. Kemp says despite what many people may believe, he did not release the book just to make money.
It's healing. Basically, it's healing because I needed to be healed. Like, people can give you stuff, but that really can't take the emotions and the pain away from you with you encounter with life. So I look at it like this: by my book, helping somebody else or inspiring somebody else or stopping history from being repeated. That's what I would love to get on the First Lady.
First Lady was released last week on Valentine's Day. Kemp said he is shocked by the overwhelming interest, especially from Bahamians, and he is hoping to get his book on shelves across the country.
As of right now, there won't be a hard copy, but there'll be an e-copy on Amazon because I didn't anticipate on having the book in the Bahamas, but then it just took a line of its own.
T. Benson Glover is the book's co-author. The pair is working on the final book of the 2-part series.